Well, look what we have here. Now you might be wondering why review Tekken 8 when it's already out for 3 months. Well, it's definitely not because I forgot to do one when the game released and brushed the idea under the rug. No, of course I would never do that. It's because I predicted that this would happen. I knew from the start the shady secrets that Bamco was yet to unleash post-release. But of course, we gotta suck the tasty part before we spit it out. Oh my god. Quick side note, please subscribe. Oh yeah, follow Twitch too. Thanks. First of all, I love Tekken. I've been playing since Tekken 4 and it's not just the competition, I also love the actual franchise. But I will not be biased on this. In fact, I might be even more honest because of how much passion I give to this franchise. Unfortunately. But yeah, here comes the Bamco Gokka 3000. We're not blind, right? We can clearly see the graphics are a huge step up from Tekken 7. Although this trailer still clears the current graphics, but this is still like very amazing. Can you imagine people are actually saying before that the graphics is just Tekken 7.5? Yeah, the Rule 34 artists are gonna have a field day with these well-defined models. Now I know there are mixed opinions on the heat system, especially entitled old-ass legacy players. Not everyone, okay? But personally, I like it. I like the change, the evolution, the progress, though I also admit it's kinda unbalanced right now, but there's a fresh new direction with even this big of a change. I guess some people just like the same game every time but with updated graphics. But overall, I like seeing people in heat, especially June. I love her in heat. I'm just waiting for Kuni in heat. Yeah, the other Kuni. For sure. But please make her balance when she returns. There are 33 characters in the current roster. Also, this layout is shit and it's triggering me. But almost everyone here has a very unique style to themselves, and someone is not just a better version of someone else. Everybody doesn't have the same 13 frame high counter hit launcher or Magic 4 counter hit launcher. Everyone is such a character to themselves and has unique moves, strength, and weaknesses. Except this fucking guy. And even some moves that are unique to them. For a fighting game, diversity like this is what makes it interesting in tournaments, not just the same Kuni, Fang, Akuma finals. That being said though, there are clear top tiers but at least each character has a unique playstyle. Not much to say, just faster load times, especially in comparison to Tekken 7, where I can make a coffee, buy some bread, take a bath, propose to my girlfriend, get married, have kids, die, get reborn, and then it's still loading. Better tools to use in the lab, much more versatile in doing certain situations. The best part is the replay system. Being able to control the characters at any given time in the replay is such a huge help in labbing. Well, until a certain part, but we'll cover that later. For now, let's suck Bamco off. Haven't played Tekken Ball before since I started at 4, but it's pretty nice that they brought it back for nostalgia, even though I'm not affected by it, since I'm still young. I swear, I'm not old yet, please. Please, it's too soon. I only really played it a little, but it was honestly fun to play, better than bowling, for sure. Some people are complaining that the roster feels lacking, but I don't know what they're smoking. It's launch roster with 32 characters, some even compared to Tekken 7's starting console roster with 36. But it's a console roster. Okay, wait, now that I think about it, this is also a console roster? But let me cook. Tekken 7 released first in arcade only for 2 years, before it went to console, and at the time there's only 20 characters. So no, we're comparing vanilla to vanilla, and 32 is actually a decent number of characters, okay? Stop coping and hating, like come on, there are worse things in this game than the starting roster. Trust me. But you might also complain that there are only 3 newcomers, and that's fine. But I kinda understand it because there's a whole new heat system mechanic introduced to the pre-existing characters, so they kinda feel like new ones too. But that argument is also valid. So overall, it's still a decent roster. Offline is pretty much the best thing about this game. Everything feels so great when you play this game purely offline. Feels like Bamco really let their load out on this one because there's a lot of content and a lot of cum to sip on. What the fuck did I just say? Story mode is probably the dough of the cake, the cream to the pie, the shaft to the demon. It's what makes Tekken 8 content cool in my opinion. Although most people don't really play the story mode and are only interested in the competitive aspect of the game. But me, I like the franchise as a whole. And for a fighting game, even though it was very weeby, anime, corny, it was pretty effortful and great story mode. Also, this segment is fucking phenomenal. Not because I'm a Devil Jit main, no bias. It was just so good. The fact that it supported my tiers as well, maybe I'm biased, but it felt good. Felt like a blowjob. Also, final fight, the callback, the nostalgia, it's like a love letter to all Tekken fans. It was an absolute cinema. Additionally, the character episodes are infinitely better than Tekken 7's. It went back to the effortful CG endings from Tekken Tag 2 and the games before. Tekken 7's character endings were a fucking shit stain in the whole franchise. I've been playing Tekken since Tekken 4 and only really learned to do juggles in Tekken 6 and only learned frame data in Tekken 7. Like I said, I love this game because of the game itself even initially. Throughout those games, I never really learned the game throughout the game itself. Had to do some self-research and such. So it's nice that there's now a mode that teaches beginners about at least the basics and fundamentals of Tekken. Arcade Quest was stat mode. It served as a great tutorial teaching you about when to attack or what to do in certain situations. I don't remember if it also teaches frames and turns, although you really don't need that in Tekken 8 where everyone just smashes and your turn is just disrespected, but overall still a decent introduction to beginners. I really like the offline side of Tekken, since that was my nostalgia, just playing with my family, playing against AI, and enjoying my life as a kid. Life was simpler back then. The Super Ghost AI in this game is not as good as the actual player, obviously, but it certainly is pretty good and balanced. Not broken enough just to read your input like fucking Paribors, but not also brain dead like Tekken 7 ones, where they just slap a fucking calculator to a so-called bot and call it a day even on ultra hard ones. So it's actually enjoyable to play against ghosts when you just want to chill offline. That being said, arcade AI is still super easy, but at least it's a bit harder than the Tekken 7 ones, even though that's not really that high of a bar to pass. So if you have no friends, which are most Tekken players, and is a law player on a 3-bar, please don't go online. Just play offline and you and we are gonna enjoy this game much more. Thanks, law players. One of the best additions in the game. I don't want to listen to this every time I select a character. Also, just to spike up the nostalgia, so this is such a W. Also, side note, if you're not using Antares and Snowcastle for this stage, then what the fuck are you doing with your life? Okay, online and pros does not go together in this game, although there are some good stuff, I guess. A lot of people complain about the netcode in comparison to other fighting games, but it is better than the one in Tekken 7, that's for sure. It's significant for me because playing with my friend from Australia and I'm from the Philippines is now not insufferable as opposed to Tekken 7, when it was literally unplayable. Practice mode while matchmaking. That's it. A change as simple as that is so impactful. So, nice. Okay, here we go. Had enough of that Bamco dick in your mouth? Well, don't worry. Here comes the bad stuff. Time to spit that shit out in their faces because they deserve it. They are making bad decisions after bad decisions. Although they did good with the most recent patch, but I can't turn a blind eye on the bad ones they made. For an $80 game, there are a lot of bugs. Not necessarily like Cyberpunk type shit, but more on the gameplay and fight interactions, which for a fighting game is much worse. Stuff like not working as intended, suddenly whiffing, suddenly changing sides, and some weird interactions. Although they are trying to fix this as patches come out, even with the most recent patch, it's still a bad taste to the gum when there are a lot of interaction bugs in a fighting game. Don't get me wrong, Tekken has the greatest customization out of its competing fighting games, but as a Tekken game, Tekken 8's customization was very lackluster. I mean, yeah, you could create cosplays and your goon activators, but there are certain options that somehow lack for no reason. Like, one thing I noticed when creating legacy costumes is that some specific outfits are only available with a certain pattern, like this open collar long sleeve polo supposedly for Tekken 4 Kazuya. It's only available with this pattern. I don't fucking know why there's no plain version of it. Hence, I could only make this. Another thing is some colors cannot be changed for some reason. Again, the biggest one here for me is Jin's flame pants. Like, why? Why can I change this? It just doesn't make any fucking sense. And then why can't you just take pieces out of full sets like in Tekken 7? Especially for DLC outfits. Why is it restricted to its full set? This limiters just doesn't make any fucking sense and I hate it. I hate it so much. Good thing Devil didn't strip as fucking default. Tekken 6 customization was so ahead of its time. Even with the uniqueness of each character in the way they play, there's a clear difference between top tiers and bottom tiers. Now to be fair, they just released the latest patch that supposedly fixes this imbalance. So they are trying to fix this issue as time passes, which is good. So I won't make this as impactful as it initially were. You could say that the previous patches didn't touch on this, which would be a bad thing, but I understand that they didn't want to adjust the balancing heavily for the first 3 months.
It ties into the overall design philosophy first, which I think we touched on is aggressive, right?
Okay, I guess that aggression is more likely playing slots and gambling for 10 fucking minutes. Because this game's aggression is basically just forcing you into a 50-50, into another 50-50, into another 50-50, and wait, guess what? Into yet another 50-50. The second factor has been diminished so badly, and it's just plus frames into plus into plus into plus that won't even let you sidestep or cancel all options. It's a forced guess most of the time. I guess you could say that it's about reading your opponent, but when it's just guessing after guessing after guessing, this is not fighting. This is just gambling, dressed as a fighting game. And we all know that gambling is bad, kids. Remember what I said about better lab resources? Well, this is the fucking rat in your house poisoning your food unknowingly to eat you when you die. This is the poison in that beautiful feature. Whenever you fight against DLCs, if you don't own that DLC, you can't control them nor your character in the replay. So you can't lab their moves or what to do with them. You just have to do it in the old-fashioned way, taking notes of the minus frames and pray to Harada that your punish will suffice. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. I know it makes sense business-wise to push you into buying the DLC, but it's so fucking scummy, I might as well not just do that. I'm not gonna pay $10 just to learn how to avoid gambling the next 50-50. Fuck that. I might as well use the money to actually gamble. I'm just joking. Gambling is bad, kids. Don't do it. The offline aspect of this game is perfect. I have no complaints. This game becomes a 10 out of 10 if you purely play offline. If you care about your enjoyment and sanity, play this game offline. Alright, here we go. This is one of the features that was really being hyped out by the devs pre-release, the Tekken launch. I mean, I appreciate the effort in performing this place, I'll be honest. The reference, the cute Easter eggs, even though they fumbled in the characters with fucking discount me's, they couldn't make it clearer than this on what this game's target audience is. All that glazing and me's aside, this was barely a necessary feature. There isn't much to do in the launch, though at the same time, that's a good thing, because I really don't want to go to the launch just to play Tekken Ball or play 1v1 with a friend or other modes that's exclusive to it. However, there isn't enough incentive to actually care for your Mii or the launch itself. So yeah, Tekken launch is not really that useful. It may have some uses from time to time, but not nearly as it was advertised. Speaking of the launch, where friends can gather in one place, getting those friends is also shitty. There's no option to just enter a Tekken ID to add a certain person, or if there is, then it's hidden like a fucking netherite for some reason. Enough for me to not find it no matter how much I try just for this point. You have to go to the Tekken launch, set up a place to meet, and then add them there. I tried this with my sister who's on a different region. It's that bad. I guess this is the importance of the Tekken launch, which is pretty fucking awful by the way. What's worse is that the whole system is hidden in the community tab. It's like the worst friend system of any game. I remember spending 30 whole minutes just so my sister and I could play it from across the country. It's as if it knows you probably have no friends when you play this game, so they never tried with it. Okay, I did say that the netcode is better than Tekken 7, but we gotta remember it's 2024.
All the other good fighting games have the netcode made through time traveling 2048 NASA with the mission to bring fighting games to Mars.
Meanwhile, Tekken 8. This game is so much better offline. I know they're manually banning rage quitters and fixed the disconnection rate thingy, but the fact that there's no instant punishment, like quitality or at least just giving the win to the other person because the other one literally forfeited the match, it's just crazy to me. It doesn't make any sense, nor any fucking law that they're trying to say.
We hope that people think really closely about this because it's not just automatically ban them. We have to be very careful because you're taking away online access for players, which we've seen, not necessarily our company, but there's been examples of people suing because of this. And so we have to make sure that we have the proper evidence, etc., in place before we enact these more severe measures.
Like what? Is it illegal to make someone lose some fictional rank points over a fictional game when they fictionally off themselves? No, right? Surely not. This game, again, is so much better offline. I'm not a competitor, obviously. Well, not obviously. I could if I try. Yeah. But just basing off of most competitive statements, this game strayed away from fundamentals, which me personally, I think this is a shift of fundamentals and style. But who am I to speak? This is what the pros said. Though personally, I'd rather watch this than KBDing for 50 seconds just to bait one singular CH launcher and end the game. But that's just me though. One of the main reasons for this review being late is the scummy secret that Bamco had kept from launch: microtransactions. Now don't get me wrong, I feel like for $80 the content you get initially is already fruitful, but the fact that that shit was a secret and playing on words with "there will be no microtransactions on launch" just to suckle on those 5-star reviews is just so scummy. It feels so wrong. It feels like you're getting your balls crushed while receiving a blowjob. There's just something not right with that. It feels so disrespectful to us fans. I just fucking despise it so much. It's so disgusting. The scummy practices weren't enough, huh? On top of this disgusting microtransactions, they had to include the battle pass. I was good with the legacy skins, like I don't fully agree with it, but it's kinda okay. I like the designs. Now they had to add a battle pass. And inside that battle pass, we get a ball, everybody. A fucking blender ball. Sheesh, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. This is the best battle pass ever of all games. Woohoo! Oh yeah. And some Tekken 7 reused assets, even for the Cyber Pack, a Tekken 7 asset, and a bunch of fuck all for the best battle pass of all time. Fuck Bamco. Despite their bad decisions, they're trying to make good ones. Although these good decisions are decided by, I don't know, just flipping a coin, it's also lazy. And what I mean is, them just basically erasing a whole system for a single problem on a single character, instead of specifically fixing that certain problem. I will never forgive them for adjusting something universally just to fix Heaven's Gate floor break on Grounded. This made the whole community blame my boy. Deviljin did nothing wrong, and I will stand for this until my very last breath. Okay, I'm being overdramatic. I still love Tekken. I really do. Even though Tekken 8 is a bit of a Okay, maybe not a bit, but a huge shit show. But I have hope. I pressed X and believe in the future of this game. Offline is perfect, but online, like 1 rage quit out of 5 load your guts. Overall, this game gets 3 X presses over 5 Alabamas.